Okay, so good morning, everyone. We may discuss about each other during our laboratory session if there are any. So we can introduce ourselves later on. Fine. Let me begin with my introduction. Um, my name is Tapan Trivedi. I did my master's and graduate from Vishwakarma Government Engineering College, Chhattisgarh. Then I did my Master of Technology from IIT Roorkee, and then I did my PhD from Charatar University of Science and Technology. That is Chennai. Fine. Um, my major area of interest are the power electronics. So at some point you may find that this person is inclined towards power electronics. So yes, I am, right? Uh, then I'm also interested in power quality. That is a different aspect of electrical engineering. And I think in today's context, every electrical engineer should be aware of power quality, right? It's not just about getting the power, it's about getting the quality of the power. For example, if you get water at your home, then you may not want to drink contaminated water, will you? No, never, right? So, similarly, if you are getting electricity power at your home, so you may not want to get a contaminated power supply at your home. Otherwise, it will affect, please sit in the third row or the fourth row. Otherwise, it is likely that your equipment will be damaged. Many times in rural area, not in urban area, but in rural area, uh, people say that if you are buying a costly equipment such as electronic gadget, I mean, for example, if it is a refrigerator or if it is a washing machine, it is basically electrical appliance. We call it electrical appliances, right? So, as an electrical engineer, you should be aware of some of the terms which are used in practice. So, one term is the electrical appliance, right? In electrical appliances, if there is a major deviation in the power, especially the voltage, then what will happen? Your appliance will stop working sometimes, and sometimes over the longer period it will be damaged, right? Okay, so that is the power quality aspect. But as I say, I have not limited myself to only one particular field, right? So uh, I have worked on the digital controller. I have worked on the digital controller for electrical applications. And that is the reason I'm interested in this particular subject or course. And that's why I'm teaching you this course. Fine. So, talking about this particular course, uh, I have developed many electrical control algorithms or electrical algorithms, right? Used in electrical equipments used in the industry, right? So, for example, if you want to design one uh, digital controller or digital control algorithm for solar inverter system, then certainly you can learn it from me, right? Uh, I have used field programmable get array also to control the speed of the induction motor. Understand? So everything is interrelated. Somebody might say that how is it possible that only using some digital circuits like what we are going to study, right? What we are going to study about multiplexers and encoders and decoders and so many things. So using those basic, uh, you can say building blocks, you can even design the controller for the motor, induction motor, or you can even control a solar PV inverter, or you can even control the EV battery charger. Understand? And for that, you don't need to know extensive programming. No, you can use some building blocks which we will study in this course, right? And using those blocks, you can design many complex applications. So do not be under impression that if you are studying a very basic thing and the industry is adopting a very extraordinary approach and you will never be able to match that. First, your job should be to completely understand, apply particularly the whatever you have studied in digital electronics. Okay? And that's what we are going to discuss throughout the semester. Fine. Dr. Atul has already conveyed the evaluation methodology. So you are aware, right? You are aware? Fine. So instead of mid-semester examination, in this course, uh, we are going to design and implement a project in a group of two, not more than two. Okay? And so your mid-semester examination will not be there, but you will prepare a project. Okay? But whenever you prepare a project, it should be designed using the concepts which you study in this course. So you should not come up with some kind of microcontroller based projects. Make sure, okay? Do not select that kind of topic which will require some kind of microcontroller based project. Fine? Because a lot of people go for Arduino. When it comes to the project, then we think that, oh, we should go for Arduino. No, don't go for that. Fine? Second, because this class is, uh, I can say, it's having students from many ethnic backgrounds, right? So some of the students might be conversant with Hindi. Many of you are conversant with Gujarati. And here we have our friends who can understand only in English. So our medium of communication will be English because at the end, at the end, you are supposed to appear in examination in English, right? I will tell you that why you should also try to improve your English. I think um, our learning team will tell you the importance. Fine. Um, so let's begin with digital electronics. Yes. That was the introduction part. Okay. We will start with one unit of digital electronics, and that is combinational digital circuits. The digital electronics that we study is basically divided into two. One is the combinational digital circuit, and second will be the sequential digital circuit, right? Combinational digital circuits and its basic blocks are something which you have already studied. You may have studied earlier, right? But in sequential, some of you might not have studied, right? So let us begin with the simplest one. Before that, I will always talk about this outcomes and objectives of the session. Now, as a student, you should be aware that what is the outcome of that particular course. Have you discussed this with Atul sir during the first session? Analog, no problem. Fine. So see, in any course that you study, outcomes is something which you want to get at the end, right? For example, throughout your graduation study, you may do whatever you want, but you will always decide your outcome first, right? First outcome of your study is what? To get an undergraduate degree. At the end of this program, you call it program, not a course. This is a course. You should be aware of the terminology also. Say here in Marwari University, when I say course, it doesn't mean that it is an electrical engineering course. Electrical engineering is a program for us, right? And analog and digital electronics is one of the course of electrical engineering. So at the end of this program, you will get a degree of Bachelor of Engineering or Technology in Electrical Engineering, right? Second outcome may be that you will get a job in a relevant industry, right? That will be another outcome. And when you study, you always study keeping that outcome in mind. Okay? Some of you might not want to get a job at all. It is possible, right? So then you will think that no, I'm not interested in job. I'm only interested in the degree, right? So, but before you do everything, your outcome should be known. Okay? If your outcome is not known, then you may start with, you may say that I want to design an energy matrix, right? That is your outcome in the mind, that this is what I want, right? So you may want to design an energy meter, and then you may end up with designing the power meter. If that is the case, that means you have spoiled your time. Does it happen? Right? You start with the design of energy meter, and after 3 months of design and everything, you end up with power meter, right? Then what will happen? You will say that, oh, I spoiled my 3 months, right? Okay, now enough of this lecturing. I will straightway start with the objective. So first of all, I will introduce you to the Boolean algebra. Second, we should be able to apply the basic laws of Boolean algebra. Okay. And third, we should be able to evaluate different rules of the Boolean algebra, right? Whenever you design a digital circuit, in a digital circuit, as you can see here, this is the AND gate. Now, in this digital circuit, every time we will be having inputs and outputs, right? And input, now if I say that there are two inputs, then you will ask me, sir, which two inputs you are talking about? So I will say A and B. So A and B are inputs, and AB, you can call it Y. Let's say Y, capital Y. So Y is the output, and the expression of the output is A dot B, or A into B, right? So every time we want to design a digital circuit, we always write an expression for the digital circuit. Now, sometimes we get so involved in the expression that we forget the fundamental itself. So don't do that. Okay? Boolean algebra you are going to study, but that is for simplification of the circuit. Okay? So do not take it as a mathematics. Of course, it's a mathematics, but don't take it as mathematics. Right? Okay. So AND gate. All of you are aware. How many of you are not aware of the AND gate? Tell me. How many of you are not aware of the AND gate? It's something which is studied in elementary school level, right? AND gate. AND gate. Please, if you don't know, raise your hand. Tell me frankly, okay? I just want to skip the part which is known. Okay, let me summarize. AND gate is one of the basic gates in digital circuits, right? And it has two inputs, A and B, and it is represented, the output is represented as A dot B, fine? And the relation or the truth table for the AND gate is like this. When A and B both are 0, now, okay, A and B both are 0, then the output is 0. If A is 0 and B is 1, output is 0. If A is 1 and B is 0, the output is 0. But the output is 1 only when A and B both are 1. When A and B both are 1, then the output is 1. So we call it AND gate, right? The condition is AND. Now you have studied about basics of programming, so you might be aware of the some of the terminology, fine? Second, OR gate. In Boolean, this OR is represented by plus sign. Do not take it as an addition literally, okay? Addition is a different thing, ORing is a different thing, fine? For example, when A is 0 and B is 0, A plus B is 0. When A is 1, B is 1, the output is 1. When A is 1, B is 0, the output is 1. And when A and B both are 1, the output is 1. So overall, we can summarize there. If A is 1 or B is 1, then the output is 1. Okay? Now, do not think that it is 1 plus 1, so it should be 2. No. This is an OR operation. So do not get confused by this addition, by the addition. Once again, I'm telling you, many times it creates confusion in our mind. 1 or 1 plus 1 is always 1 in Boolean. In arithmetic, it's a different thing. Okay? If it is arithmetic operation, then it's a different thing. So you may say that 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. That's fine. Okay? But in Boolean, 1 plus 1 will always give you 1. Next is NOR gate. Now, NOR is the not of OR. So there is an OR gate, and then you put a bubble there, right? So the bubble is always the operation of complement. You are aware of complement? No? Yes? No? Do you understand complement? Not? You are aware of NOT gate? Please tell me. You are aware of NOT gate, N-O-T, not? Yes? Okay. So this bubble is actually equivalent representation of NOT gate. So after the OR gate, whatever output you obtain, it goes through the NOT gate. So it is inverted. Okay, and that gives you a NOR gate. Okay, for example, in OR gate, A is 0, B is 0, so the A plus B is 0. But in NOR gate, that 0 is complemented. So when A is 0 and B is 0, the output is 1. Right? Whereas when A is 0, B is 1, the output is 0. When A is 1, B is 0, the output is 0. And when A and B both are 1, the output is still 0. So you can relate it with OR gate directly. It is simply the complement of OR. But NOR gate is actually a very useful gate when it comes to the implementation. Okay? We might think that, why should we implement a NOR gate, which is OR and then followed by NOT? Why should we do this? Okay? But NOR gate, as you will study, NOR gate and NAND gate both are universal gates. So they are widely used in implementation. Implementation means I want to implement a particular circuit in an IC, right? So then I will use this gate to implement that circuit. Okay? Okay. Next is the NOT gate. As I said, okay, it performs the complement operation. So when input is 0, the output will be 1. And when the input is 1, the output is 0. Right? It's like behavior of certain people. Okay? When father says that you should go for a graduate degree, then the son will say, no, I will never go for graduate degree. And when the father says that you can't go to the school or you can't go to the college for graduate degree, then the son will say, no, I will definitely go for it. Right? So it's this kind of relationship where the input is always complemented. Fine? Look at the symbols also. Here, we put bar above the original variable, right? So there is A, and when we perform not operation, we put bar above it. Fine. So bar denotes the complement operation. Next is the NAND gate, right? This bubble once again indicates the complement operation. So there is an AND gate followed by NOT gate. So the truth table is like this. When A and B both are 0, the output is 1. Now how do we denote it? A dot B. This dot actually indicates the AND operation, and we should not confuse this dot with the multiplication operation. Remember, this is not multiplication, it is AND operation. Fine. And A dot B is finally complemented or inverted, so it becomes A dot B bar. So when A and B both are 0, 0, the output is 1. When A is 1, B is 0, the output is 1. When A is 1, B is 0, the output is still 1. But when A and B both are 1, the output will be 0. Okay? So, where can you use this kind of logic? Can you tell me? Yes? What kind of programming? I'm talking about the real life application. Okay? Uh, Programming, ultimately, see, programming is based on this. Understand? The programming that you do, it is based on this. So when you in the programming, when you want to do some operation, you use this Boolean operators. If you have studied C programming or any other language, then you might have come across this some of the signs like AND or this, right? Do you do this? Okay, so we use this kind of signs, but ultimately they make operation. Fine. But I'm asking you about the real life application. Okay. For example, there is a missile there. Okay. Suppose there is a missile. Fine. Or let us say not missile. There is some kind of um, power cutoff mechanism. Let's be electrical engineer. So there is some kind of power cutoff mechanism, right? Now the power cutoff mechanism is designed such that if operator wants to turn off the power. Now when I say turn off the power, I am talking about turning off the power for the entire region. So this may include the entire village. And I want to do it intentionally, right? So then I will press a button to turn off the power. Okay, but it is quite possible that operator presses the stop button by mistake, right? So if you want to ensure, um, you put another operator or some kind of, let's say, an executive engineer, right, who is at the uh, top hierarchy. Okay, so once the operator presses the stop button, the engineer gets the message that he has stopped the button. Do you really want to stop the power? So engineer also presses the stop button because he is aware that yes, power has to be stopped, right? So when both presses that button, that breaker or whatever mechanism is there, right, it will open. So the power of that particular area is completely shut off or shut down. Okay, so you can think of this input as operator 1 and this input as operator 2, and when both the operators presses the button, or you can say to provide one input, then the output will be 0. So that kind of logic is to be implemented, then you can go for NAND. Okay, so many real life logics, right? They need not be implemented with a very high end controllers, right? We can use even the simplest circuit to build a product. And if your product is designed using fewer components, less components, and with better uh, mechanism, then it will be adopted worldwide. Okay. For example, in industry, people use a very sophisticated electronic regulators for control of the speed. But here, at our home and at the institute, at university, we use electronic fan regulators there, right? Now, they are very simple. Look at that. It's very simple, very small, right? And still bit reliable. Not quite reliable, but bit reliable, right? So you can easily vary the speed of your fan using those electronic regulators. Understand? But it is popular because it can be easily accommodated inside your switchboard. Understand? Fine. So what I mean to say is that many products can still be implemented with the simplest possible logic. Okay? Anyway, next is the XOR gate. This XOR gate has a specific mechanism. So the symbol for XOR operation is plus sign, and then we have a circle like this. Fine. You will not find this type of symbol on your keyboard, of course. Okay, it's a special symbol. But the actual logic, we will talk about this later, don't worry. The actual logic of XOR is like this. AB bar plus a bar B. Okay, but at present, we will focus on the truth table. What you have drawn is a truth table. Okay, so when A is 0 and B is 0, the output is 0. When A is 0 and B is 1, the output is 1. When A is 1, the B is 0, the output is again 1. And when A and B both are 0, the output is, sorry, when A and B both are 1, the output is 0. Okay. Now, can somebody tell me what does this signify? What we can understand from this truth table? Yes, please.
Like if one is zero and the other is one, or one is the first one is one and the other one is zero, then the actual gives us a unit of zero. But if they are alternating, no, it's the inverse actually. When they are alternating, it gives us a unique value of one, and when they are not alternating and they are the same, it gives us a unique value of
One second. Any response from any other student?
Can it be the two base weeks?
Two
Two base weeks.
and
Two base weeks. Can it be like the two base weeks? If one side is up, the other side is down. If both sides are up, the line is up.
okay. Fine. Um, everybody can have a different interpretation, and none of you are wrong. Okay? In science, we always think in binary, that uh, either it can be completely true or it can be completely false. But it is not like that. Even this binary, the system, which only understand 1 and 0, there is still an error of margin. Okay. Okay. This is basically an inequality detector. Okay. Look at these two conditions. When A and B are not equal, then you get 1. Right? Understand this? See, when A is 1 and B is 0, you get 1. When A is 0 and B is 1, you get 1. But when A and B both are 0, you get 0. When A and B both are 1, you get 0 again. Which means the output will be 1 only and only when both inputs are not same. This is called inequality detector. Okay? This is very useful in comparison or a comparator. Okay? Which is one of the important combinational circuit, right? So I would say it is inequality detector. Understand? That is the X or gate. Okay, fine. Let's go to the next. Fine. So far, we have studied about some of the basic gates. Fine. Okay. In this inequality detector, if you add a not, that means if you add a bubble here, okay, it will become X nor. We call it X. We call it X nor, right? So what will happen when you complement? This is 1, 0, 0, and 1. Get it? Now look at this. When A and B both are equal, the output is 1 in X nor. We call it equality detector. Understand? This is used to compare two numbers, whether these two numbers are equal or not. Binary numbers. In computer, we use binary language. I think we have been studying this since our childhood. That in computer, we use machine language. Machine language means binary language. Okay, and binary language is always in 1 and 0, right? At present, this is taught at grade 2 level, right? So in binary language, if you want to compare two numbers, then you can use comparator. And for comparison purpose, you can use X NOR gate. That's all about the gates. Fine? Okay. Now the Boolean algebra. So as we have seen, inputs and outputs are defined in terms of symbols A, B, C, D, like that. And then the relationship between the input and output is denoted with some kind of expression. So y is equal to AB, y is equal to A plus B, right? Like that. So when you generalize something, okay, the best companion is mathematics. Okay, so there were with computers and with binary number systems, there was another branch of the mathematics, right? Specialization of mathematics, you can say, and that is Boolean algebra. What we study in mathematics up to, you can say, grade 10, that is linear algebra. Have you studied it? All of you have studied about linear algebra, yes or no? Okay, you might have studied it, but you are not aware of this term. That is not your fault. Fine, because we don't think that, oh, I studied about I actually studied about calculus. I actually studied about linear algebra, right? I actually studied about probability and statistics. No, we simply start learning everything. That is the problem with the definition of the outcome and objective, right? We study linear algebra thoroughly. If I ask you that y is equal to mx plus c, are you aware of this term? Sorry, equation. Y is equal to mx plus c. Most of students who study mathematics, they are they know this, right? Y is equal to mx plus c. But if I say, have you studied about linear algebra? You say no. Right. In electrical circuits and networks, we extensively apply linear algebra. We also apply calculus, but we are not aware of it. Okay, it's quite unfortunate. Similarly, I'm not a person of mathematics. Similarly, here we will study about Boolean algebra, but only applied part. That means we want to apply it. Okay. So Boolean algebra is basically the mathematics of digital systems. Fine. If you want to design a digital circuit, then the knowledge of Boolean algebra is essential. Nowadays, there are sophisticated tools which will optimize your circuit. Okay, you only need to tell that this is my function, this is what I want to design, and then it will optimize everything. But before 1990, that was not possible. So if you want to design a particular digital circuit, then you need to note down the expression and then calculate everything and then come up with this expression. This is what we want to implement. So for design of digital circuit, for example, I ask you that you design a decoder. Of course, you are not studied decoder, don't worry, right? I'm not asking you right now. But if I ask you that you design a decoder, then certainly you have to use Boolean algebra. Understand? So basic knowledge of Boolean algebra is very essential for design of the digital circuit. In Boolean algebra, most of the times we will use the variable or a symbol to represent the logical quantity, that is A, B, C, Y, X, Y, Z, something like that. Any Boolean variable can have only two values. In Boolean algebra, you cannot have 0.5 or you cannot have 5. You have only two values, 1 and 0. Okay, the complement, as we have studied, complement is the inverse of the variable. That means if A is 1, its complement is 0. And if A is 0, its complement is 1. So the complement is the inverse of the variable and is indicated by either a bar or this dash sign. We may use this alternatively. Okay, sometimes you will see that bar, sometimes you may also see this dash, but both mean the same thing. They are complement of a variable. Okay, now how do we do this Boolean addition? So in a logic circuit, Boolean addition, this is not a summation, remember, as we do in arithmetic. Okay, this is a Boolean addition. In logic circuit, the sum term is produced by OR operation. For example, A plus B, A plus B dash, A dash plus B, A plus B plus C bar. So it takes the OR operation of those variables. Fine? Whereas, so here you can see that. We use, whenever we encounter this plus sign, that means we should use OR get. Right? So A is 0, B is 0, then output is also 0. Same thing, same table is represented using OR get here. Get it? Okay. Now Boolean multiplication. Let me announce this, let me announce something. Probably after this month, I will invite you. Of course, I need to ask our management for that. But I will invite you to a beautiful course on basic electronics, which will include this operational amplifiers or the entire part of analog electronics. Right? It's an online course, a wonderful course, and I will introduce you to that course at that time. Okay? But you should be aware that we do have a license with Coursera. How many of you are aware of Coursera? Coursera. Yes. So we have a license of Coursera. It's a basic license, by the way. From Coursera, um, you can enroll in any course of any university worldwide, and only those universities which are ranked in top 200 in the world. For example, by the way, IITs, Indian Institute of Technologies, are not among top 200. So, those institutes or universities which are among top 200, only they can offer those courses. As a student, you can learn those courses, right? It's a wonderful experience. I've also gone through some of the courses, right? And it gives you a complete exposure to that particular course. Okay, so I will brief you about that procedure as well as the course later on. But meanwhile, you can search um, on Google regarding this uh, Coursera as well as other platforms. Yes, please. Huh? Okay. This one. Fine. Don't worry. Okay, it's not my copyright. I can hand over it to you. But of course, when we are doing some kind of calculation, at that time, I will definitely expect you to note down everything. Fine? So if there is any relevant information other than what is displayed on the screen, then you can note it down. Fine. Okay. Product term is a product of literals. In logic circuits, a product term is produced by the AND operation. Okay. For example, A dot B, or sometimes there may not be dot. Okay. Every time we do not put dot there, it will be simply AB dash or AB. Okay. So AB, AB dash, A dash B, ABC bar, something like that. So these are AND operation, or you can say Boolean multiplication, or also known as the product. Fine. Here is the example of the product. Just a minute. Okay. I will begin with this laws of Boolean algebra and many other things from next session onwards. Fine. Meanwhile, those who are online, can you just enter your enrollment numbers here?